What's up, y'all? It's your boy Lanye, 24 years free. Y'all, before I even get started, if you're new to this channel, I did some time for somebody else who's crying, and I tell my story about how that happened. If that's something you're interested in, there's a lot of episodes. Usually hit subscribe, and you can view the whole library. Give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it, and any comment I respond to. So I've been going through a transition in this channel in regards to the things that I talk about. You know, moving slightly away from the prison topics and to more current event topics. So in this episode, I want to discuss Dylan Mulvaney. If you ever heard the name, you know the controversy. You know what the ism is. If not, then let me give you a brief synopsis. You can Google the rest. Dylan Mulvaney is someone who is somewhat of a pop hit phenomenon online, viral sensation of what appears to be what used to be a man that is now saying that they identify as a woman, that they are in a transition, and that they are starting womanhood from day one, journeying that on a vlog of some sort. And then Dylan is actually mocking women's products, you know, holding up tampons and whatnot, saying, where does this go? How do you stick this? Where do you stick this? You know what I'm saying? Playing on the fact that Dylan doesn't actually have those parts, but nonetheless identifies as a woman, so she should be able to identify with this product. There's a few issues for me with this, right? One is that I have no problem with the community with all of those letters in it. I think you should be able to live your life whatever way you want to, as long as you're not hurting nobody or taking advantage of nobody. But the original part of me that's from the black community say you can do what you want to do. That ain't my get down, so just stay over there with it. The problem that I have with the current movement is that it's being shoved down your throat to the point where you gotta approve of it. And if you don't, then somehow you're a phobic of some sort, right? So that's problematic. So if I say I have a problem with Dylan Mulvaney and what's happening with that situation, somehow I don't like that community. I'm actually surprised that a lot of people in those communities are falling for this. It would be the equivalent of like if somebody was to put on blackface and then mock us. That's the way Dylan Mulvaney should feel towards women. Like women should view that that portrayal of them in a mocking way, the same way black people viewed blackface. Now you take what you will out of that. I'm just giving you my opinion. This is all my opinion. I only got mine, right? But that's the way I think that they should feel in regards to that, because you already had your struggle. You know, there was the struggle to vote. There was a struggle to, you know, have equal pay. There are tons of struggle. You guys got Me Too. Everything is, you know what I'm saying? The struggle is real in regards to women's rights, right? That's not in question. But then when you have people who can say that they're women, who hasn't fought for the rights since the 20s and the 1890s and this and that, all of that work is down the drain. It would be the equivalent for me. It would be the equivalent of out of somewhere somebody start saying they identify as black. Some race of people, some position would allow you to say, I'm black now. And when by doing that, everything that was black about me was snatched from me and given to them. My culture, I couldn't do nothing. It all went to them now. Because they're saying they're black now. I'm no longer black. They're claiming black now. It would feel like if I was a woman looking at how these the Dylan Mulvaneys of the world are doing with the women's movement and or equality rights or those sorts of things. And I don't agree with anybody being discriminated against. That's not even what we're talking about here. I guess what we're talking about is a kind of appropriations, a kind of taking what don't belong to you and then giving it a different name. Like I have a problem with the cis part of the, you know, the referral of women, biological women, mind you, as cis women, as if somebody has the right to change their name without their permission. You know, it's a little arrogant on the letter community in regards to thinking that they can just call biological women cis. I just found out that biological men are called cis as well. So that's maybe somebody can comment on that and explain that to me. That shit don't make no sense. But from what I understand, cis doesn't even stand for cis as in sister. It's some sort of acronym. But with that said, I feel like that community, the actual biological female community, should be far more outraged. Now, there was a young lady, I think she's a skater. No, she's a swimmer. Her name is escaping me. She stood up. She's standing up for these sort of issues because truth of the matter is, and I'm not the biggest sports fan, right? But I'm a Logic fan. I'm a fan of Logic. So the truth of the matter is that there are categories of sports for a reason. Just like in male sports, there are weight classes for a reason. Because if my bony ass get up in there with a heavyweight, I'm gonna get pummeled before the first round is over, right? So they give me somebody who I can spar with and got to stand a chance with. That's done logically, because if you pair people who don't belong, you're just gonna have, just imagine LeBron playing against 3-year-old basketball players or something, or Pop Warner League, whatever the smallest basketball league. He would just dominate those kids. There's a reason why he can't play in those leagues. Because, what I'm saying, he's bigger than them. That's the problem with men. Men who now identify as women competing against women, because he would just dominate. If it goes too far, there will be slam dunk champions in the women's NBA, and it'll be all dudes who now identify as women. And it'll probably be a women's winning team, but it'll probably be like 8 transitioned people on that team, and they just mollywop every other female team. So these are the kind of realities that you will be facing the more you fall down this rabbit hole. This is a bad rabbit hole to go down. As a black man, though, I know you could hit me with the phobia, but that's not the case, because, like I said, I let people live how they want to live. So I don't judge you for wanting to do that. I can hit you with the Bible, but that's not the conversation right now. But as a black man who grew up in a community where it's not necessarily the most gay friendly, but we've in a lot of ways we've come around, because everybody has somebody in their family who get down like that. But as a black man, I just want to speak as a black man. I shout out to Dave Chappelle in this one, because I feel like that y'all's movement is like steamrolling every other movement that happened before it, right? Like I just mentioned the women's movement. You got the civil rights movement. There was Occupy Wall Street, Black Lives Matter. There are several movements. But the LGBTQ, especially this transgender thing, you guys, I got to get props where props is due. You guys y'all movement is moving rapidly fast. People are terrified to say anything. The freedom of speech thing is probably almost already gone. And I'm not even getting on the politics of it all. I just mean the fact that either you're brave enough to say something, or you're wise enough not to say nothing because you don't want to lose your endorsements. That's what I mean by the freedom of speech. You either jump off the cliff or you stay safely on the ground. So y'all movement got a lot of power, but it's wrong in the sense that it crushes at least two other movements. I shouldn't say it crushes, but it borrows from. Well, it kind of crushes the female movement or the women's liberation movement, if you will. Because women have worked a long time to get where they're at just to have a dude pretend to be a woman and then take all of that. So that's one. So you crush an A movement. And then you kind of borrowing from the black movement. You're kind of saying your discrimination, because I won't call you a girl. That is the kind of discrimination that is the equivalent of a whites only sign, or the equivalent of a Jim Crow laws, if you will. And that's some bullshit. That's where I got a problem with that, because they ain't round you up and say you got to do X, Y, and Z. They didn't do that. This is you demanding some shit. This ain't nobody telling you a motherfucking thing. So I have a problem with you borrowing my struggle in regards to saying this is the equivalent of like the civil rights movement, because you came out with a gang of rights that you probably didn't even earn off rights that other people fought for. So don't give me that bullshit about basically what I'm saying is you can't borrow my struggle. You just can't do it like that. You can't have what I fought for and then say what you're fighting for is the same thing. It's not. It's just not. There was never no plantations for you. There was never no only training, only work, water signs. There weren't those sort of things. So it's not even the same kind of comparison in regards to that. And that's the only part that I get offended on. And that's the reason why I really wanted to make this video, is because it's going to be interesting to see how this pan out, because so many people are kowtowing to these transgender. And hey man, we in the last days. So I'm not really surprised, but I'm glad that somebody is standing up. Shout out to all those who are standing up and saying it should not be no transgender in women's sports. That's just, you're just gonna mollywop a bunch of people who work their whole life to win things just to have a fake girl take it, a faux woman steal it. That's just not cool. Maybe they should have their own league. If there's an entrepreneur out there, hook that up. But I don't see how that's fair. I guarantee you this: the moment a female transitions from femininity into a male and try to get into a male sport, let's bet she don't make the league. Let's bet on that. I got $100 on she don't make the league, because it ain't the same thing, because she ain't a man just because she thinks she won. Right? Because her body structure, her muscle frame, all of that's off. That's the only reason why men can transition to women in this warped last days time and be able to dominate these women, because their muscles are really muscles of men. Their structure and their abilities and agilities and all of that is actually men, regardless of what they identify as. So yeah, I just felt that it was something that I needed to touch on, because like I said, when I was in the pen, I got a video when they introduced transsexuals to the prison system, and you watch people transition from straight hating that lifestyle to like, hey, she ain't kind of cute. You see people who find a door to the closet. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is in regards to what I experienced in prison. But what I'm talking about now is just the progression of how women are just losing to this community. Women are just getting mollywopped by this community, and it's just totally not fair. Because if you want to be called a woman, I can call you a woman, but you're not. Even if I call you one, guess what I'm thinking? That's all I'm saying. So anyway, I ain't gonna hold you up too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave it at that. Yo, it's your boy Lanye, 24 years free. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. I prefer a comment. Yo, holla at your boy. Until next time, it's your boy Lanye, 24 years and son.